Hello, my beautiful friends. Welcome back to the 1 in a Million community. Today, I am going to give you a very, very powerful fix to help you stop feeling inferior altogether. I hope you're ready, so strap yourselves in because today's video is really going to change that dynamic for you. This all ties into manifestation and self-confidence. And the reason why I constantly switch back and forth between manifestation and self-confidence content is because when you're at your highest alignment and when you're acting from a place of alignment, your identity is so secure that you will feel naturally confident and you will remove any sense of inferiority and any need to please other people. And when you do that, you manifest from a place of authenticity because everything in life for you starts to align because you are aligned with who you are. So everything starts to show up in such a way that feels congruent to who you already know yourself to be, if that makes sense. So if the sense of inferiority is getting in the way and you want a quick fix, this is going to shift everything for you. And there are no practices. It's just a statement. It's just a shift of perspective that is going to really put your mind in the right place so that when you're showing up in future relationships, future conversations, scenarios, situations, you will know how to situate yourself so that you never have to feel inferior again. Okay, so first things first, I just want to say that this can happen anywhere. Your sense of inferiority can happen anywhere because that is just like the baseline in how you see yourself and identify with yourself in social situations. Now, it may not occur to you that you feel inferior unless you were in a social situation. So it's like a relational dynamic. It only occurs to you when you're in the presence of other people. So this could be when you're at the airport, on the plane, when you're at the gym, when you're at the office, when you're talking to your boss, when you're talking to parents, when you're talking to your friends who have better jobs. Things like that. It could happen in any situation, even at the dentist's office. So the general sense of inferiority is, oh, I probably shouldn't say that. If I said that, would it make it look silly? Is it a silly question? Is it ridiculous to ask this? I probably should lower my hand. I probably should just stay quiet and see what other people do first. That's the sense of inferiority that like completely takes over you. When we feel inferior and we step into a relationship, and I'm not talking about, any specific type of relationship, and I'm just talking about a dynamic, okay? You step into a dynamic. When you're trying to impress, it already puts you in an inferior position. The moment you feel like, oh, I better behave as my best self. I better say something clever. I better be sharp. I better have the right answers. It already puts you in an inferior position. Because what you're saying is, my opinion of myself is less important than your opinion of me. You are more important than me. You're saying that your time is more important than me. Your opinion is more important than me. Your truth is more important than me. So essentially, you're going to dilute yourself and dial down everything that you are. Like you're going to minimize yourself. You're going to shrink yourself to a small little ball so that you don't feel like you overstep the other person. And there's no chance to because you've already shrunk to a small little ball. So what happens then is the dynamic in the room completely shifts, because essentially you're giving all your power away to the other person and you're keeping none to yourself, right? When you do that, there's a lot of actually performance going on. And when I lay it out like this to my clients, they're like, well, that wasn't my intention. I don't try to, minimize myself, but actually that is what's really happening. Because when you're trying to earn approval, when you're trying to earn somebody to like you, when you're trying to make an impression, you're trying to sound smarter, the power dynamic immediately shifts over to the other person, and you instantly feel like you are the smallest and most insignificant person in the room, and you just want to disappear and you don't want to be seen, and that nothing you say matters, right? And there's a lot of performing going on. And I don't mean that you're actively trying to manipulate other people, but when you are trying to create an impression, you are also putting on a mask. You're also saying, well, I try to look smarter than I actually feel I am, or I try to sound more intelligent, or I try to look like I have my stuff together, but actually I don't feel that confident. And it's okay to not feel that confident, but it's another thing to make it look that way so that you can earn the approval of others. But when you stop the performance, when you drop the mask, when you say, you know what, that's not my job. I'm not here to impress you. You can sense that the dynamic of the room instantly shifts. It instantly evens out. It doesn't mean that you put yourself in a more important position than the other person. I just mean that you're no longer putting other people above you. And this is very important because when you try to impress others, you're telling yourself that other people's perception is more important than your authenticity and more important than your truth. Confidence is being aligned with your truth and being aligned with your authenticity. When you give those things away, when you forgo your truth and your authenticity and you leave them behind to earn and chase the approval of others, that's called self-abandonment, okay? Every time you abandon yourself, every time you abandon your authenticity and your truth, what happens? Your confidence corrodes. And what happens every time you stand up in your authenticity, even if you're risking other people not liking you, not agreeing with you, is that you learn to respect yourself even more because you're able to stand behind who you say you are. So allow yourself to let authenticity be the one that drives the wheel. It's the one that dissolves hierarchy. When authenticity steps into the room, it's the one that says, you know what? It really doesn't matter what your opinion is, although of course you're really not saying that verbally, but you're energetically drawing the line to say, I am not going to cross this line to sabotage myself and abandon myself to make you happy. That is a very powerful statement to make energetically because you're signaling to yourself that I am important too. That person is also important, but I am also very important. So you're like really leveling out the power dynamics here when you stand in the truth of your authenticity. Because in the end of the day, you have nothing to prove. You have nothing to impress other people with. So it really doesn't matter. The right people will stick. The right people will catch your message. Right? So what can you do about this? Like, let's make this practical. The next time, before you speak or before you show up, ask yourself, what feels like truth for me? What feels authentic to me in this moment? Do I really want to put a smile on my face? Do I want to look hyped even though I don't feel hyped? Do I want to soothe the other person and make them feel good? Or do I just want to show up as I am? Ask yourself, can I feel safe to just show up as I am right now? Like, can I approve of it? If I can be at peace with it, and if I think that this version of me is good enough, then they're gonna have to either take it or leave it. And when you really sink into the safety of that dynamic, you instantly level out all kind of power dynamics, because you're saying, I'm important too. I'm not here to impress you. There's nothing cocky about that. It's knowing that your presence does not have to shrink in the presence of other people in the room. So whether if you're talking to someone in private, someone in public, one person or a group of people, know that you don't have anyone to impress but yourself. You don't have any truth to speak but the one that you stand in. I would really love for you to give this a try when you have the opportunity to, and come back and tell me in the comments how this worked out for you. And I hope you enjoyed this video. If you guys like more content like this, make sure to subscribe to the channel. Let me know what you think. And until next time, take care, and I'll be seeing you in the next video.